Good morning, guys. Welcome to the Camp Financial Stock Market Update. It is October the 25th. So let's take a look first at the markets yesterday, and then we'll come back and there's a few specific stocks I wanted to go over today and kind of put those in perspective, and then I think I'm going to prepare for another bigger write-up coming up probably for my goal will be to have it done before November 1st and get it put up on the website. So yesterday all three markets took off right at the opening bell, shot up on some pretty good earnings from the night before and that morning. And then they all were pretty much flat, held that number for the rest of the day. So with that being said, we'll take a look. So Amazon, big day yesterday, Microsoft, and so I'll go ahead and mention Microsoft now since it's pretty bright green. Microsoft's one that I actually just I've been talking to my son about, right? Because he's 7, almost 8, and we've talked about him starting to buy some stocks with some of his money that he's earned for doing chores and stuff. And Microsoft is one that I specifically mentioned to him as a big Minecraft fan. I thought, well, why not have him invest in a company, with something that he's going to like, something that he's going to be interested in and following. That's a good way to get kids interested. So we were talking about Microsoft last week, and lo and behold, Microsoft has pretty good earnings, and now in a little over 3 months we see Microsoft stock jump a little over 25%, which again, when we're talking about an extremely large company with a 25% rally in just over 3 months, that is a huge deal. So that kind of covers one. Okay, so then another one that I want to talk about. As somebody who's very interested in the stock market, very interested in how finances work and understanding, having a pretty good understanding of the human psyche, I see some things that get posted, recommended on Twitter, or things that what's always been referred to as pump and dump has changed a lot these days, but it's still extremely, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, it's still extremely pertinent, I guess. I mean, but people would be more willing to read articles in the past that would say, oh yeah, you should buy this stock, and then they would go in and buy it, and it's a 5-cent stock, 10-cent stock, 50-cent stock, whatever, and then the stock would rally up, and then and then it went to email. Email was kind of the way that people got the pump and dump stuff through. They convinced people through emails that they'd send them, oh yeah, you should buy this stock, blah blah blah. And it seems that Twitter has become the new means of getting your pump and dump ideas out there. So I got a tweet to me last week. Obviously, again, I'm somebody that posts a lot about the financial market, but about a company called UBQU, which is, I believe it's Ubiquitech. I can't even remember the name of it now, but essentially it's a 2.5 cent marijuana stock, Yeah, could it go up? Sure. Could it go to zero? Absolutely. Um, so I just see these things, and when I see these extremely small stocks like that are trading at 2.5 cents, something like that, um, well, for me personally, it always raises a red flag, but it also makes me want to make something like this, or let people know that, hey, if you get these schemes to buy these little tiny companies, they have essentially no earnings results. I mean, we're talking about a company that has a market cap of $350 million and or $350,000. I'm sorry. Now 350, that's a 350 million. That's a pretty good size company, or at least a decent small company. $350,000. So a company like that, again, it'll go out. It can go out of business in no time. I mean, could it grow? Absolutely, but unless you're planning on putting a whole bunch of money into these different little things like that, uh, it's really just not a way to get ahead in the financial markets. So I guess what I'm getting at is, don't fall prey to people saying, oh yeah, have you looked at this stock? You should buy it because it's going up. Well, it's 2.5 cent stock. If somebody buys 100,000 shares of it, it costs them $2,500, $25,000. But then it doesn't even matter. So it pushes the stock price up because there's been a lot of purchases in it. But immediately the next day it could drop right back down when people start selling. So just be really wary of reading, hearing those things. And then I want to go ahead and look here. So we got earnings coming out. Looks like last night after hours we had Visa, Everest Reinsurance, reinsurer. Let's see what else is on here. Zion Bank Corp. Procter & Gamble comes out today before the markets. Novartis, Merck, 3M, Eli Lilly, a lot of really big companies today. It's going to have United Technologies, Lockheed Martin, and DuPont. So we're talking about today before hours, before market opens. You're talking about having some pretty big names present earnings that give us a really good idea of whether what we are starting to believe about the economy heating up a little bit, whether it really is. Just to piggyback on that, after hours, you've got Apple, AT&T with their recent merger purchase of Time Warner Cable. They'll be putting out their last quarter results. Chubb, another big insurer, Canadian National Railways, Express Scripts, Capital One, and Discover Financial. So we're talking about a lot of really large companies going to be reporting earnings, and that gives a good idea of whether or not this is again a rally that's going to kind of sustain. I don't really see it rallying much further from here, but just I think we're kind of trying to figure out where the market is going to be fairly valued. And that brings me to the last one, and this is a recent IPO, and it was for Twilio. So a technology company. They're in the application software business. So this is one I've heard on Jim Cramer's show, and I mean, he's talking about buying it, and I mean, I don't have a problem with it per se, but so it came public at right around $30 a share. went straight up to $65 a share. It actually even crested 70, and has since, that was right toward the end of September, has since cratered back down to now where it's at $40.73. So it's coming right back down pretty much to where it went public. Again, I haven't dug into the financials or anything on it, but if you look at it, I mean, if you look at the chart, it's a really short term chart, but everything looks bad. It's below all of its moving averages. It's dropping. Just doesn't look like a place that I would want to put my money right now. I'd wait and see how their earnings come out, and then see what it does when it moves. When some of these moving averages come back down after it's gotten through the hype phase of the first 3 to 4 months after the IPO. So that's it for today, guys. Take care, and we will see you tomorrow.